This episode of London Real is sponsored by X-Brain. If you live in Europe or the UK, get all of your favorite Onnit products like Alpha Brain, Shroom Tech Sport, even the Bulletproof Coffee from X-Brain. You get it in a matter of days, no foreign exchange, no customs, no problem. Go to xbrain.co.uk and check it out.
Great.
I was going to start off. You said that you got the idea. I don't know if this is true or not. By in the movie Wall Street. You've seen the movie Wall Street.
Greed is good.
Yeah, Greed is good. And I must have seen the movie Wall Street like 250 times.
Right.
Like when I was back in New York, when I would be out with my buddies and we were in finance, we would have a bunch of drinks and we literally would say, "Do you want to go back and watch Wall Street?" I'd be like, "Yeah, let's go do that."
Right.
That's what I used to do. So it had a big inspiration on me. But there's one point where Charlie Sheen is out at Gordon Gekko's mansion in the Hamptons, and he's hitting on Daryl Hannah, and he's like, says, "Oh yeah, what I really want to do is," I don't know if it's a line or if it's true. Is it a line just to get the girl, you think?
For him?
Yeah.
No, I think, because at that stage in the movie, he's kind of, he's about to make it.
Right.
And when you start to make it and you start making real money in the finance game, I think you're always like, oh, I can just put enough away and just sort of take off. And so few guys actually do that. So I think it was both. It was for the girl, but also, I think he truly believed it. Bud Fox, the character, as well.
And what was the line he said?
I think he said, I just want to get out of this racket and ride my motorcycle across China.
Across China.
Yeah.
It was like really nothing specific. I don't know.
Yeah. No direction, no nothing. But that was what, 87 was the movie or something like that. So I was 6. So obviously I didn't watch it live. But huge Wall Street fan, a huge Boiler Room fan. All those sort of great movies for traders.
There's only 2, right?
Yeah, there really is only 2.
Yeah.
There's a lot that have come subsequently post the great post the credit crunch. You had Margin Call and to Fail and stuff like that.
But the Boiler Room in Wall Street were like pro trader.
They're just about the lifestyle of
the
the
Wolf
trader,
of Wall
right?
Street's coming out soon. Have you read that?
The Wolf of Wall Street.
No.
Yeah, I think that's coming out soon, and there's a book. There's a book about it as well, which is apparently a true story.
Okay. All right, we'll check it out.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So tell us more about your story. This line resonated with you, or what?
Yeah, so it's a good movie. We always watched it together, and we were just like, we both like riding bikes, and so we always talked about riding around China or riding in China, quoting that movie. And then my life progressed, and all of a sudden I'm not in Wall Street, but I'm on Bay Street, which is the street in Toronto, and I'm just sort of sick of the life, sick of the racket, and so.
How many years were you in?
Not many, to be honest, and to be brutally honest, my currency trading past was very entrepreneurial, so it wasn't like I was even working for a big bank on a huge floor with 50, 60, 100, 150 traders. It was very small. It was just the 2 of us at the beginning. And then we grew it up to about 35 people across Canada, and then we sold it. And
what exactly did the business do?
It was currency brokerage firm. So we helped like small, medium-sized enterprises in primarily in Canada doing cross-border business with the U.S.
Yeah.
So like XYZ company is buying $5 million worth of widgets from the U.S. and helping them strategize, hedge, give them better rates, that sort of thing.
Okay. So forwards and futures and options as well?
Options, derivatives, yeah.
But all Canadian dollar?
80-90% of our business was dollar CAD, yeah.
But it went to parity, right? The loonie went to parity.
Yeah, well, it's been around parity now for quite some time, for a few years. So, it's hard to take 2% when you're switching on the other side of parity, because everyone's reading the news saying, the Canadian dollar is stronger in the U.S. and my rates, weaker in the U.S. So it created some problems with our traders, but yeah, just helping, and in that time period, it was, access to information isn't what it is now. So so there was still that value in being able to educate your customer and help them just get better rates.
You said you were interested in going across China. Have you been across Canada? Because obviously one of the biggest and most beautiful, large variety of different. Have you ridden your bike across?
I haven't. It's sad to say. I've seen more of China and India potentially of Canada. I'd like to someday. I just I don't know why I haven't.
I have to do it in the summer.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's something that I'd love to do. Canada's a beautiful country. I love it. We'll always be home. And I was actually born in the west side of Canada, so in Edmonton. but spent my whole life in Toronto.
Right.
So how did this thing actually happen? Were you just talking with about your brother, like this is a crazy idea? Or like what year does it finally seem like you're actually going to do this?
Yeah, so I sold my business in 2008,
Right.
just before Lehman collapsed. Part of the transaction I had to stay on for 2 years, help with integration and all this type of stuff. And the plan when I sold the business was to really grow it across North America. And after Lehman collapsed, the business that bought us was a transfer agent business in Toronto. So they, deal with publicly traded companies and help them manage their stock certificates, easily put. So they just swallowed up our FX. So we were an FX business inside of this stock transfer business. And after Lehman collapsed, they sort of contracted, right? All the businesses contracted and focused on what they did best. And FX just wasn't it. So the whole growth model wasn't there. And so they're just like, yeah, we're not really going to grow this thing. We just want to keep it how it is and just, generate cash as it's been going. And so I was just like, well, that's not really what I want to do, right? I'm an entrepreneur. I want to grow this thing. I just don't want to sit and manage, 25 traders. So whatever, I put my time in. 2 years later, 2010. My brother was in New York for a gallery showing. He's a photographer in China. And we just got talking. We were in Central Park, and my 2 years was coming up, kind of like jail. I could see the parole board ahead, or whatever you want to call it, and so we were just chatting, and I was saying that I was going to take some time off. I really wanted to, find something new to do, maybe go do an MBA, maybe just travel the world. And he said, like, let's do an adventure in China. And so we started talking about what it could be, how long it could be. Do we hike a couple holy mountains in Tibet? Do we, spend a few weeks in Xinjiang and sort of hang out with some Uyghurs? And then we said, why not see all of it? So why not ride around China on bikes? And we actually went to the Apple store on Fifth Avenue and started looking at, on nice big monitor and screen, and started looking at Google Maps and figuring out how we could actually do it. And
like the route.
The route.
Okay.
And so we, my brother's well traveled in China, so he's been there for 10 years, world-renowned photographer, travels the whole country for his business. So he knows the country extremely well. And we mapped it out, and it was circumnavigating China. It was like 19,000 kilometers. We're like, yeah, divide that by 300-400 kilometers a day, and it's 60 days. So we were just like, yeah, let's go for it. And that's sort of what got the ball rolling. And I went back to work, wrote up my resignation letter, handed it in, gave him 4 months notice, put my house on the market, and the rest is kind of it took over.